Hello, my name is August, and today I'll be rating the designs of the Transformers Prime character cast. I'll be rating the designs all across the line continuity, from Prime to Rescue Bots to Robots in Disguise. So let's start off with the main man, Optimus Prime. This Optimus Prime design gets an 18 out of 20. It's a very good design. It shows off strength in his form. It's a very recognizable design as Optimus Prime, which is really good for Transformer designs all across Transformers. The knightly look lets him emulate coolness, like this moment with the Star Saber. It's epic. And as strong and epic as a leader as Optimus is, this design also lets him give off the perfect body language to show his kindness, which is a great part of his character. So, 18 out of 20. Beast Hunter's redesign of Optimus Prime is an interesting look, but I really love it, 20 out of 20. The wings are definitely a highlight of the design, no matter how little sense it has for an Autobot to have wings, despite this being a show where they all are cars. Despite of this, I really think that the wings send a message to the Decepticons specifically, saying, "We are in Season 3. I'm gonna fight you on your own turf, be ready." Towards the actual design itself, I really like the overpowering whiteness that he has. That is a good contrast to the darkness that, all the other characters somehow have in the show, because it shows the emo Transformers. And I really like that. I really do. It shows that Optimus is like a bright light, a future to everybody else. 20 out of 20. This version of Optimus Prime is a 15 out of 20, even though it's very close in design to the Beast Hunter's design. There's just a number of changes that just makes it not as good as Beast Hunter's Optimus Prime. I think the biggest reason being the art style change. The art style does not really complement Optimus Prime in a great way, just like it does for other returning characters. The Optimus Prime design is very top-heavy in nature, which makes it look off balance, along with the lack of blue, not really making it feel like Optimus Prime. So, all in all, it's very okay at best. And I made a mistake. It's not a 15 out of 20, it's a 13 out of 20. This is 15 out of 20. It's a good design. It's very standard looking for Optimus Prime, very recognizable as an Optimus Prime. It's not the most craziest thing in the world, but it's recognizable as Optimus Prime. I think it looks really good for Optimus in general, And then there's this guy, this Dinobot looking guy. No, I lied again. He's not a Dinobot, he's a dinosaur. 1 out of 20. And then we have B, everyone's favorite guy. 17 out of 20 design. It's really good design. It looks like a bee. He looks like Bumblebee. And my favorite part of the design is probably the bug eyes. It really makes him, pull together the whole Bumblebee look. It's really great. I called this guy a wasp, but there's already a wasp in Transformers. Black Bee gets a 20 out of 20, not just because he looks cool, but because of what this means as a character for him in Season 3. Bee's character went from a childish scout to a warrior leader who helped save Cybertron and defeat Megatron. The black and yellow instead of the yellow and black really highlights how much he's matured and grown as a character since Season 1. 5 out of 20. This design sucks so badly, you just have to let me rant for a second. First of all, this doesn't even look like Bumblebee. He's not even shaped like Bumblebee. He's shaped like Smokescreen with his head shape. Second of all, he's too top heavy. I hate that. Third of all, they got rid of everything that made Bumblebee special. Now he just looks like a generic guy, just some guy, not just his alt mode, but just the way he looks in his base form. He looks bad. He lacks so much of what makes Bumblebee Bumblebee. There's not enough yellow on him. There's too much gray and black when it comes to his design. That just sucks in general. I know B always wore his battle mask, but Jesus Christ, this battle mask sucks. Who designed this? This just looks like he has a cloth on his face, like he got drugged or something, like in a movie when they get kidnapped. And that head shape. I hate that head shape. What did they do? He used to be round. Now look at him. He looks like a trapezoid. No, not even a good trapezoid. He just sucks with the way he looks. And I just hate the neck. Why did you make his neck look like that? It's so elongated. Why? This 15 out of 10 cutie gets the same points that Optimus does in Rescue Bots. He looks good. He's recognizable as Bumblebee, and he's fine design. Just good. Ratchet also gets a 15 out of 20. It's a good design. Really, it is. Well, not the best of designs. It's really okay. It's nice. It's not spectacular or anything, but you can really tell that he's an ambulance and a medic with the way he looks. He looks like one, for starters. And I don't really have much else to say about his design other than his face. I like his face and his big eyebrows. They leave room for good expressions like this. Very expressive. This Ratchet, on the other hand, gets a 20 out of 20. I prefer this design over his original design, which cannot really be said of a lot of characters from the show. I just believe that the white looks better than the orange. How the orange on the original design just overpowered it in a way. I like it, because it actually looks like an ambulance, and like G1 Ratchet. A particular detail I also like is the eye bags that can be seen here. It just highlights how tired he is of the constant battles and the fightings after all these years when he thought the war would have been over. So, 20 out of 20 design, really good. This freak, on the other hand, gets a 10 out of 20. I do not like the way that they shape him in this show, just, ugh. Bulkhead is a 15 out of 20. He's not spectacular in any other way or outstanding or shining like the others. He's just good. I like him for how he looks, and he looks good for a wrecker and a heavy hitter. He fits his archetype for how he looks and how he acts. Good. This Bulkhead, on the other hand, gets a 14 out of 20. He's less than what Bulkhead is. And, there's a lot less bulk. I don't really like the way that they shape characters in the show because, like Optimus, like Bumblebee, he's not shaped good. Really not good. Also, the details are just non-existent. I guess they were hoping that nobody paid attention to him, but I did. The original Smokescreen gets an 18 out of 20. Not only does his plan show off his personality of a guy who will think of his plans on the spot, but also shows off that high guardness. He looks like a royal. He looks like he's wearing battle armor. The sleekness to his design, along with the futuristic elements, make him look like he belongs in the high guard, and that's great for him. Not to talk alt modes, because I'll only talk about one other person's alt mode, but Smokescreen's alt mode paint job really looks good. It really just shows off that race car element, even though he's not a race car. The new paint job gets a 16 out of 20. Unlike Bumblebee's paint job, which really fits him, Smokescreen's new paint job was just, not that great. Otherwise, it's pretty good, because Smokescreen kind of mirrors Bumblebee in a lot of ways, and his paint job was one of them. Another way is in Season 3, he was really maturing a lot. He was actually thinking things through. He was, learning to give up good opportunities for the sake of, greater good. Those kind of elements that made Bumblebee a good leader. He is following in his footsteps and therefore is changing, like Bumblebee. So I guess that's the story reason why he has his new paint job, to follow Bumblebee in more ways than one. Still works better for Bumblebee. 18 out of 20, just fantastic, phenomenal. I love RC's design in the show. It just really, not only does it fit with every other character in the show or just the darker themes in the show, it just looks great in general. It's just that good. The blue also works way better than what pink and white would look like on RC. She was right in that one time. It really would not fit her at all. I also like how when she has to stab people, she has to uppercut them because the blade's directly in her arm. I think that little element's directly cool, just like her rose gold highlights. Wheeljack gets a 15 out of 20. His design's fine for what he is, and that's a ninja cowboy wrecker guy. But I guess it's just missing that inventor touch. But, he's not an inventor in this show, so who really cares about him, missing out on his adventure stuff? He is what he is, and what he is, design-wise, is what he is. The Ultra Magnus gets an 18 out of 20. He's a bit top-heavy, which I really don't like, but other than that, every other thing about his character just screams leader. He is a leader. And I love that claw hand that he had for, a while. Shockwave's, the only other guy who has a weird hand, so I like Ultra Magnus having a weird hand. He also, really shows off that leadership stuff. I like it. 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 Out with the Autobots, in with the Decepticons. Megatron gets a 20 out of 20. He is just so fantastic in so many ways. I gotta list them off one by one. Number one, he looks the best in the emo style. He just looks so dark and menacing. And then we have the warrior aspect. He looks like a danger and a threat. He's literally prickly. I'm not touching him. I'm not messing with this guy. And then look at this picture. He just looks so evil and dark and menacing. I can't even lisp any breezes. He just looks cool that way. This pointy and stuff. And whenever he just, does dark energy on the purple highlights to him, just make him look that much cooler. Jeez. Oh my god. That guy was a 20 out of 20. Galvatron's a 50 out of 20. I just love how Galvatron looks so much like Megatron, except there's something wrong. Very wrong. I love how he looks like an owl. He looks like an owl. And then we have him. This guy has the worst Starscream design since animated, but he's still a 15 out of 20 because he still looks good for what he is. And that's like a little gremlin. Someone who's mischievously scheming in the corner of a room. Someone who speaks lies into the Lord's ears. Except he's kind of a loser. A very much loser who only keeps himself alive because he can pull off the "you wouldn't kill a guy in his birthday" gimmick so well. And, he pulls that off really good for, who he is in the show. So he gets the points where he gets it, but he doesn't really look like Starscream. And speaking about people who don't look like themselves, here's Soundwave. Soundwave, despite not looking like Soundwave in like any other continuity, still gets a 19 out of 20 because he still just looks that cool. He radiates off of energy. Despite being called Soundwave, he's silent, and you get that. He's a dark, menacing killer who will get you in your sleep. 20 out of 20. Did not need to get changed. Already perfect. Also 20 out of 20. Just great. I love the red stripe on the white arms. I like that. I didn't put this guy with the other Starscream because transition, but he gets a 17 out of 20 because he actually looks like Starscream. I like that. He has a DB smile. And that's all I gotta say about him. Now, Knockout. Okay, everyone calls him the sexiest Transformer known to man, including the producers of the show, but like, I do not see it because he lacks something that every other character has. He lacks that basic texture that every other Transformer has, whether it's dents, scratches, scars, all that stuff. He misses it. He doesn't have it, so he's missing out on it. Therefore, he just looks like an unrendered low polygon type thing. The smooth people inside of the Galvatron's Revenge thing. This guy, however, gets the full 20 out of 20 instead of a 12 out of 20 like original Knockout. He's just fantastic. He actually looks good, unlike this guy. Breakdown gets a 16 out of 20 because he looks like a soldier, but he gets a 16 out of 20 because he kind of has the same problem as Knockout, where he doesn't really have that texture to him, but he has a bit more texture than Knockout, where he's not completely polished looking. He still looks good. Silos with a C gets that 18 out of 20. Dead bodies look cool in Transformers. And we have Arachnid right here, right now. Not only she's gorgeous, but she just straight up looks like a predator. Those devil horns aren't for show. They are a warning to what kind of a person she really is, and I really like that. So she gets the full 20 out of 20. Just, mwah. Yeah, she just looks evil. I like that for her. Also the spider legs. I love the spider legs. I also love that tailcoat thing. She looks fancy like that. And then we have Dreadwing, who I just adore the way he looks. He just looks like someone who carries a lot of weight on his shoulders, both physically and metaphorically. The biggest thing when it comes to Dreadwing is like color palettes. Him and Skyquake have that kind of theme going on with their color palettes. And their color palettes are really reflective of their roles. Skyquake has greens and silvers as his color palette to reflect a soldier, while Dreadwing has blues and gold to reflect his role as a commander. My favorite part about this guy is the pigeon feet. I like them. Then we have Predaking. He's one to scream because he's an 100 out of 20. Just fantastic, fantabulous. Despite the fact that he's technically a newborn, he just looks so old. He has so many wrinkles. His face is so bony. He looks old. Like he came from the Cretaceous period, which I guess just has to do with the fact that he was made out of bones and he kind of just got reborn by Shockwave. That kind of stuff. And I just like his Predacon design. He just looks so cool as a dragon. He looks menacing. He looks like a bat sometimes because of them big ears. He looks like a rhinosaur. Rhino. He looks like a rhino. He looks like a dinosaur. He looks like all kind of mythical things put into one, which also has to just like feel the nature of him. He's mythical. He's dead. And then we have Predaking's creator, Shockwave, who gets a 16 out of 20. It's not the best design in the world, but it's pretty menacing, and it goes along with the themes. He looks like he could kill you, especially with that big old red eye. And, I like the design. Very scary. This was also the first Shockwave who I heard use the word logical in a logical sense. Last but not least, we have the Viacons, who I just really can't rank in general because of their variety. The variety between the Silver Seekers, the Terracons just look amazing. The Workers are grounders, and I like that distinction between the two. And the Flyers are also like soldiers. I like that. I just really like the Viacons. They all look good. They all look like they're part of one group while still being somewhat distinct from each other. The actual last aside is Cliffjumper, who gets a 19 out of 20 because he looks good. He looks like the cowboy he plays himself as. He just really good. I also like the Mystic Core. It looks pretty cool on him. So I guess it's the end of the Transformer Prime ranking character designs. If you want to see more of me, then wait another 10 years. August out.